A lot of times business owners, they just want to keep, one foot in front of the other without stopping and just saying, what's not working for me here?
So talk to me a little bit about, like we were discussing, you have a mastermind that you run that is for pawnbrokers, but then going into that, you actually make them take your course first, because if you just put somebody in the mastermind, there's such a state change that they can't handle it. So talk to me about like the 1, 2, 3 things that they need to really start with to get traction and to understand the difference, because you're pretty much giving them a 180-degree massive shift.
So the first 3 things that I speak about in leadership, I teach to my clients in the course, is clarity, courage, and commitment. Those are the 3 C's that I teach. And clarity comes from, when my wife told me that she's going to get married to be alone. I had to look at myself in the mirror. I had to stop lying and say, okay, what isn't working here? A lot of times business owners, they just want to keep, one foot in front of the other without stopping and just saying, what's not working for me here? When you think about a Formula F1 race, every car has to stop in the pit to get tires changed, oil changed, gas, and figure out what's not working in order to win the race. So in leadership, it's the same thing. You've got to stop, say what's not working, where do I want to be, and be able to fill in the gap with number 2, which is the courageous action. What's the one thing that I'm willing to do, that I'm going to go to war for, to make that gap smaller? And then number three is commitment. Like if you don't commit to it, then it's just a pipe dream. It's just, you're just saying there's no integrity to it. So number 3 is commit to your word, because lack of consistency breeds insecurity to your team. So if you're just making promises and you're not making them happen, then you're putting fear into your team.
Have you seen some patterns emerge with people that you've worked with? Because I would think most high power guys that run a business of some kind, whether it's a pawn shop or whether it is a restaurant or a coach, a consultant, a lawyer, a doctor, like I think they all deal at the same core thing. Like we look at culture, most people would say, I don't need leadership. I don't need culture. I need them to do what I say. And like, we both know that that is definitely not the way to lead a team. Have there been some patterns that have emerged that you've seen?
You mentioned that my wife is pregnant. We're having a baby next week. And the one thing that comes to mind, Steve, is that sometimes my wife says, hey, can you cut my toenails because I can't see my feet? That's the same thing with a business owner. They're worried about like the bulge, making the bulge bigger, making their stomach bigger, that they forget to see their feet. And so the pattern is, I'm paying you, just do what I say. But there's so much lack of clarity that the team member just says, okay, boss, and pretends to know what they're talking about. And then goes and does something. The boss gets upset and says, well, that's not what I wanted. My team isn't working the way I want them to. I need a new team. No, the truth is you need a new you to be able to give so much clarity to your team that they know exactly what you want and need.
That is 100% true. I've seen that when I consulted for restaurants. I saw the exact same thing. Managers, I just want them to do what, well, they don't know because you're not taking the time to lead them. You're not taking the time to show them exactly what it is. And that has to do with communication. First and foremost, 100%. And you touched on that with your wife. Like the biggest thing in life is being able to communicate clearly and consistently and have open, honest communication. I think business owners sometimes can get egos as well. I've definitely seen that with doctors and chiropractors and dentists where, well, this is my business. This is what I do. My name's on the door. Like, you're going to do what I say. Well, at the end of the day, every employee wants to do a good job, right? I mean, 99% of employees like love to hear, you did a great job. I really appreciate that, which is something I bet you teach inside the leadership, right? When you build culture.
So when I talk about clarity, courage, and commitment, it's not just in your actions, it's in your communication. I'll give you an example. If you need to talk with somebody, it has to be clear communication. Sometimes it's going to be a hard conversation to have. So you have to have a courageous conversation. And you have to be committed to the outcome that both people leave better than when they came in, right? With your tasks, with whatever it is. So, when you're committed to growing your business, you also have to be committed to the growth of the team members within the business. And what we started realizing in the pawn shop is that when we committed to their growth, the profits were just easier to make. An example of this is, we couldn't pay them a lot more money, but we got Dave Ramsey's financial university thing that he teaches. And we said, hey, we're going to buy this for everybody. Every week, we're going to get a phone call. We're going to teach you how to budget and just see how we can help you so you can save money. It was life-changing for some people. I didn't have to pay them more money. I just taught them something new that helped them in their lives.
And I mean, that not only does that help them, but that helps you because those people love that. Like they feel like you care, and you do care 100%. They're going to honestly probably be able to work for less money. If you need to cut back, if you need to cut somebody's hours, or you need to give, the pandemic happens and like, hey, you know what? We have to cut back everyone's schedule, but I'm going to do whatever I can to make you guys whole and take care of you. They know you care.
Yeah. For me, caring is a big part of leadership. So there's something that's if you over care, if you're getting too close, there's an issue. But then knowing that you care about them makes a huge difference. Quick example is a lot of my team is in the Philippines, and there was a typhoon yesterday.
Yep.
No power for 10 hours or whatever. And I just said hey, team, don't even worry about it. Like I'm covering that day. You're not going to lose out on the money. One of my team members cried, and they're like, you have no idea what it means. How am I going to take away their pay for something that they have no control over? We had people in the pawn shop who would say, hey, my uncle died. I got to take 3 days off. And we'd say, hey, no worries. It's paid. Go be with, don't stress about the money. Go be with your family. Did it cost us a couple of bucks? Yeah. But when that person came back, they sold more than they ever did before.